Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is Sue Vanderwood, and it is my honor and privilege to serve as Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at Colorado State University. Will everybody please be seated? CSU, College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, was recently ranked as number 2 in the country. We know that controversy surrounds this ranking process, but I only see one minor mistake, and everybody in the audience knows what that is. We are the best. I am so honored to be officiating these graduation proceedings for the first time as Dean. I am humbled to be participating in this event and hold it as one of the most important things I've done in my first 9 months in the job, to participate in the commencement ceremony for nearly 150 graduates, the class of 2023, as they become doctors of veterinary medicine. I want to thank you for joining us and taking the time and traveling the many miles to be with us this morning. We're going to begin this ceremony with the acknowledgement of the origins of the land that our university was built upon. Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties natives have to their traditional homelands are renewed and affirmed. CSU is founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and, significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. Thank you for considering the meaning of these words. Now, I hate to start out with this, but a couple of quick housekeeping details. If you've not already done so, please turn off your cell phone. Even though it's raining, we unfortunately have to ask that you meet your students outside the Moby Arena after the ceremonies, since we have to turn this arena into the next graduation ceremony. And we don't have an on-site photography team. Photos will be viewed online in about a week, so be checking your email for those opportunities to purchase memories of this phenomenal event. Next, I would like to introduce the faculty and guests you see on the platform around me. I will ask each person to rise and remain standing through the introductions, and may I ask you to please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. President Amy Parsons, 16th President of Colorado State University. Dr. Colin Clay, Executive Associate Dean, College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. Dr. Molly Murphy, Director of Veterinary Student and Academic Affairs, College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, University of Alaska, Fairbanks. Dr. Karsten Heffer, Interim Dean, College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, University of Alaska, Fairbanks. Dr. Anna Fales, Associate Professor of Biomedical Sciences, Colorado State University. Dr. Steve Dick, President, Colorado Veterinary Medical Association. Dr. Jeremy Bachtel, Assistant Professor, Biomedical Sciences, Colorado State University. Major Mark Ryan, United States Army. Mr. Derek Dixon, Vice President for University Advancement, Colorado State University. Mr. Joe Parker, Director of Athletics, Colorado State University. And Dr. Colleen Cipriani, Vice President for Inclusive Excellence, Colorado State University. Thank you for joining us on the platform today. And please join me in a round of applause for these folks, as well as the CSU Brass Ensemble and our soloist, our beautiful soloist, Lucy Logan. Platform party may be seated. This is the 114th year in which Colorado State University has graduated a class of veterinarians. You have worked very hard to be part of this tradition, not only in the last 4 years, but as we know, this journey starts many years prior to entering the professional program, and this is a tremendous lifetime achievement. I would be remiss in not mentioning that this class, which started their veterinary training on a bright day in August 2019, has persisted through a very challenging and what might best be considered surreal academic journey starting in March 2020. Congratulations to you and to the faculty and staff in this tremendous college for your resilience, patience, persistence, and humor that got us through these times. Our veterinary college is, in my opinion, the best in the world, and I know the students graduating today reflect the same level of excellence. The basic foundation for this excellent program is the people who bring it to life. It takes intelligent, passionate, motivated, innovative teachers and staff to reach this level of excellence. I would like to ask all college faculty and staff in attendance today to please stand and be recognized. And it's great to see the students applauding for all the faculty in recognition. Many of today's graduates recently received awards. We were at an awards ceremony that went on quite a long time last evening, and those are listed in your program. We'll not be going through them individually again, but I urge you to look at those and congratulate the individual recipients, and my congratulations to all of you for outstanding achievements. At this time, I would like to invite Amy Parsons, President of Colorado State University, to the podium to say a few words.
Congratulations to the DVM class of 2023. You've had quite a journey to arrive here. It takes a tremendous amount of hard work, creativity, and determination to earn this degree. Adding a pandemic to the experience with all of those uncertainties only increased the challenge. You've completed the rigorous coursework required by the top veterinary medicine program in the country, and you've earned this day with years of applied effort. You belong here today. Your loved ones, your professors, and all of the staff here at CSU admire and respect the accomplishments, large and small, that have brought you to this ceremony. The strength, ingenuity, and skill that you've gained during your time here at CSU will serve you well as you go forth in your professional careers to meet new challenges, excel and grow, and build and create. CSU will always be an important part of your story, and CSU is better because you were here. This 150-year-old institution will stand with you no matter where you take your future. And now tomorrow you'll be able to wake up and say, I am an alum of CSU. I received my DVM from CSU. You'll be part of a worldwide family of CSU alumni, committed to each other, to building each other's dreams, and investing in the next generation of Rams. I'm excited to meet you out there on your alumni journey. But today is for celebration, and celebrate we will. Congratulations again, graduates. We applaud you.
Thank you, President Parsons, for coming this morning. And we will now ask you to confer the degree. This is the big moment, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. Will the class of 2023 please stand? President Parsons, on behalf of the faculty in the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, I present to you these candidates for degree, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, who have fulfilled all the requirements of the degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors, the Governing Board of Colorado State University, I hereby confer upon you the degree, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, together with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Okay, we'll now proceed with the ceremony and bestow diploma covers to each graduate. And don't worry, we'll get the certificates in the mail as soon as we get them processed. Will Dr. Melinda Fry please escort the graduates to the platform to receive their diploma and a memento from the college? As Dr. Anna Fales reads your name, please walk to center stage where you'll receive your degree. And shout out to Dr. Fales, she did this last night, and she's an amazing pronouncer of veterinary names.
Kelly Anders, Washington. Frances Elaine Angel, Michigan. Dakota Jesse Anseth, Washington. Grady Austin, Alaska. Caitlin Badur, Wisconsin. Madison Barton, Arizona. Randall B., Arizona. Neolani Benedict, Colorado. Nicole Elizabeth Blehe Winky, Michigan. Paige Bodner, Montana. Cassidy Baus Eaton, Colorado. Claire Breitschoff, Texas. Hannah Brown, Idaho. Christina Brumley, Texas. Margaret Busha, Colorado, cum laude. Erin Cahill, Arizona, summa cum laude. Clarissa Carver, Illinois. Melissa Memory Kromick, Virginia. Melissa Clark, Alaska. Taylor Cohen, Missouri. Emily Cornwell, Indiana. Sarah Cohen, Texas. Stephen Richard Crandall, Illinois. Kylie Cunningham, New Mexico. Caitlin Daimon, Hawaii. Ryan DeKay, Texas. Alyssa Maria de la Torre, New Mexico. Katie Dean, Missouri. Patrick Didow, Utah. Matt Denton, Colorado, magna cum laude. Hannah DeZara, Illinois. Amanda Diaz, Florida. Anna Dondero, Nevada, magna cum laude. Connor Dugan, Colorado. Janaea A. Eberly, New Mexico. Katie Erickson, Massachusetts. Hannah Fain, Texas. Samantha Fedotova, Texas, magna cum laude. Emily Abigail Fissick, Alaska. Brent Fink, Virginia. Savannah Flory, Massachusetts. Grace Flynn, Illinois, cum laude. Caroline Foley, Colorado. Emily Forehand, Virginia, cum laude. Andrew Wade Fugelberg, North Dakota. Jacqueline Fulford, Florida. Paige Catherine Gabrielson, Minnesota. Zach George, Colorado. Mackenzie Elizabeth Gibson, Colorado. Caitlin Gillikin, Pennsylvania. Sarah Jane Gitterman, Maryland. Kaylee Glandon, New Mexico. Brandon Goff, Maine. Joshua Goodman, Nevada. Christy Goss, Arizona. Lillian Griffin Duncan. Luisa Fernanda Guerrero, Texas. Lauren Gilbert Jones, Alabama. Mackenzie Lynn Hayes, Texas. Emily Hokett, Arkansas. Fionn Hung, California. Ray Lee Inge, Hawaii. Rebecca Jo Jackson, Colorado. Benjamin James, California. Samantha Johnson, California. Katie Jones, Maine, cum laude. Bree Leanne Carnes, California. Courtney Kaya Lee, Hawaii. Brendan Curlin, North Carolina. Samantha Joan Keum, Ohio. Samantha Key, Colorado. Kristen Keys, California, magna cum laude. Maria Koicheva, Maryland, cum laude. Larissa Kozlowski, New Mexico. Kristen Kubo, Hawaii. Claire Frances Landwehr, Colorado. Mai Lei Mueller, California. Michaela Elizabeth Lynch, Colorado. Hannah Lumen, Colorado. Tatiana Lopez Rogers, California. Blair McNeil, Nevada. Michaela Maldonado, North Carolina. Nina Marshall, Florida. Sarah Gwendolyn Matthews, Massachusetts. John Maxwell, Ohio. Juliana Maynard, New Mexico. Alexander McCain, Arizona. Emily McDermott, California. Malia McGinsey, Alaska. Marion McInturf, France. Stephanie Meekins, Colorado. Sage Maharis, New Mexico. Hannah Morgan, Utah. Julia Newsom, Connecticut. Taylor Nicole O'Malley, Pennsylvania. Gabrielle Orsini, Arizona. Jesse Overton, Indiana. Courtney Painter, Colorado. Victoria Palmisano, New Jersey. Caitlin Parsons Whitmer, Arizona. Hannah Patterson, Texas. Caroline Patterson, Colorado. Cody Petro Sakuma, Hawaii. Jolene Polak, Alaska. Lauren Pompeo, Texas. Emma Prey, Colorado. Taylor Reiter, Arizona. Ashley Richardson, Colorado. Maria del Pilar Rodriguez, California. Jackson Runty, Colorado. Anissa Rose Semhori, Colorado. Leah Sauerwein, Missouri. Alex Schaff, New York. Renata Schlott, Colorado. Kenneth Schmidt, Arizona. Blair Schnabel, North Dakota. Lauren Scott, Kansas. Erica Shannon, Colorado, cum laude. Desiree Shaver, Colorado. Embry Simon, Colorado. Danny Dawn Souter, Arizona. Katja Spitznagel, Maryland. Christina Stathakis, Colorado. Alan Stockdale, Michigan. Mariah Sajansky, New Jersey. Sarah Tan, Ontario. Jordan Delaney Tarbutton, Colorado. Nicole Evelyn Towner, Colorado. Emma Elise Triber, Michigan. Ashley Tuthero, Arizona. Amanda Vector, Minnesota. Ricky Vellman, Colorado. Roxana Vickery, Colorado. Hannah Vilhauer, Connecticut. Courtney Walker, New Mexico. Ryan Walsh, Pennsylvania, cum laude. Danielle Francis Weaver, California. Aaron Webster, Michigan. Ilana Weisberg, California. Rachel Wertheimer, Colorado. Madeline Lee Westbrook, Texas. Lauren Melissa Wiles, Colorado. Sarah Wist, Arizona. Caroline Woolman, Connecticut, cum laude. Julia Wright, Michigan. Lei Jiang, China.
I've lost my glasses. Okay. Please join me in recognizing these new doctors of veterinary medicine. You think I could have guessed what was coming on that next on that script. At this time, I ask Dr. Steve Dick to proceed with administering the veterinarian's oath. Dr. Steve Dick is the president of the Colorado Veterinary Medical Association.
Good morning. Graduates, please stand. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Being admitted to the profession of veterinary medicine, I solemnly swear to use my scientific knowledge and skills for the benefit of society through the protection of animal health and welfare, the prevention and relief of animal suffering, the conservation of animal resources, the promotion of public health, and the advancement of medical knowledge. I will practice my profession conscientiously, with dignity, and in keeping with the principles of veterinary medical ethics. I accept as a lifelong obligation the continual improvement of my professional knowledge and competence. Congratulations and welcome to the profession.
Thank you, Dr. Dick, and thank you all. Please be seated, graduates. I would like to take a moment to recognize all those joining us today that are currently or previously served our great nation. At this time, we ask all former and current members of the U.S. Armed Forces to stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your service to our great country. The U.S. Army Corps celebrated its 100th year anniversary in 2016 and has had over 2,300 veterinary officers. Today, as we commission a veterinary officer here, we will help to continue with that great legacy. I would now like to have our military officers, Major Mark Ryan, who commissioned Dr. Alan Stockdale into the United States Army, come to the stage. It is my pleasure to read the appointment before Mark Ryan administers the oath. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and professional abilities of Alan Warren Stockdale. In view of these qualities and his demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, he is therefore promoted in the United States Army to the rank of captain, effective 13th May 2023 by order of the Secretary of the Army, signed Christine E. Wormuth. Thank you, officers. I'd like to point out that 14 of our CSU DVM graduates are part of the University of Alaska Fairbanks Colorado State University program. As part of this program, the students at the University of Alaska Fairbanks study their first 2 years of veterinary training and then join us here in Fort Collins to complete the latter 2 years. We are grateful for the students, faculty, and staff who make this program possible, and for the ideas, resources, and opportunities that this partnership contributes to our program. I would now like to call upon Dr. Jeremy Bechtel, our commencement faculty speaker.
Hey everybody, how you doing? They told me just as much what to do as they told you guys, so literally wrote this speech. I'm not sure what it's supposed to say, but here we go, right? First of all, I'd like to say these robes are very flattering, don't you think? I look exactly like Leonardo da Vinci. So, congratulations, right? Mm-hmm. You've passed the audition. It's finally time to know doses. All right? Now is the time. Oh, sorry. Boy, that rings. I tell you what. They told me to keep this short, so chapter 1. No, actually, it's not that long. I was literally in Seattle last night. That's a true story. Hooray for Seattle. And I flew in, it was raining everywhere. I didn't actually have time to make the speech, so what I did was this morning is I made AI do it. So I found ChatGPT, you guys use that? Yeah? And I had him write the speech using the keywords veterinarian and graduation speech. So, I mean, I haven't read it yet, but I think it's gonna be really good. Here we go. Actually, this hat is restricting blood flow to my brain. It's it's so tight, it's gonna shoot off my head into space. But it's not part of the speech, it's just an observation. All right, so, okay, here we go. Esteemed students, colleagues, dogs, cats, birds, and Banfield Medical Centers. Sorry. Webster's Dictionary, defines veterinary medicine because it defines all words. That's its job as a dictionary. Congratulations on your degree of animal carpentry. You have spent a lot of money to be here, and that's what makes you an amazing veterinarian. Colorado State University is ranked second in rankings of veterinary schools. Which means that based on very precise mathematical models, you'll be the second best vet at your practice. And that's definitely something to tell your mom about. Now, on this day, you can achieve what you have worked so hard for, and that is to be able to wear a white coat at the gym. And also to wear your stethoscope at bars to attract potential mates. I did that. Just last time. Just kidding. All right. As we approach these hallowed crossroads of academia, I'm reminded of the words of Abraham Lincoln, who said, HTTP error 404, file not found. The first ever vet was Seamus O'Houlihan, who, in 1809, famously said, I owe my long life to a holistic raw diet. It's true, he said that. Seamus discovered veterinary medicine in 1809 after performing a surprising, accidental, and very rapid castration on his dog during an unfortunate hunting accident. What's it say? Hold for applause. Okay. That was the fake speech. This is the real one. It'll be brief. No, I didn't really know how to do a graduation speech, so I asked Dr. Mike Lappin, right, you guys know him? Whose first bit of advice was, see if I can do a Lappin. Be yourself. Yeah? Okay. I have to tell you, that never happened. I made up an impression of my colleague to get a cheap laugh, to make myself feel like a big man. That's why I cannot be myself. I get into trouble. So then he told me, which he didn't tell me, the most important thing I could do was to make this speech about you, the students. So, in that vein, thinking about all you students reminds me of my own personal accomplishments. Or lack thereof. Right? So, I am very, very proud of all of you. And that's true. It's not part of the speech. I just am proud of all of you. But I would like to prepare you for the job ahead. So here's the job ahead. I'm going to tell you the first story of this. Literally happened to me in my first year. When I was starting out, I thought I passed the NAVLE, got my degree, just like you guys did. I'm a vet. Great. Everything seems to be going well. So the first place I worked at was a walk-in clinic where the clients would come in, and the first doctor available would grab the clients. We had these 4 flags on the doors with our initials. And they would open the flags to when you were supposed to go in the room. Well, what I noticed was there was 4 doctors at the practice, and very shortly, all the flags were out but my initials B, Dr. Bacto. I noticed this because the technicians told me very directly. They said they want anyone but B. So they did. It's a true story. Anyone but B. So they would literally rather have anyone in that room but B. And obviously that was very profound. You want to talk about imposter syndrome? Here I was a new graduate, a doctor, and they didn't want me. So that was a very transitional period for me. I could have continued to be a mediocre veterinarian that, anyone but B. That's going to be the title of my autobiography. It's going to end with liver cirrhosis, I can already tell you. So what I did was, I got better. Your education does not end right here. It continues. That's why I said you passed the audition. I mean that. So basically, I got more confident. If I didn't know the answer to a question, I looked it up, and I worked harder and harder and harder until those flags started to say, B only. And they did that because I also worked with a doctor named Dr. Baker, and she's really, really good. Dang her. No, that is a true story. I started to flip the flags around, and I got a loyal clientele. And guess how long it took me? 2 years. It took me 2 years to be a good vet after graduation. Now, most of you guys are a lot smarter than me, so it'll take you much less. But I want you to remember that, because this is the start of the road, not the end of the road. It's called veterinary practice for a reason. You got to practice it, similar to practicing an instrument. So the first time you pick up the bagpipes, let's say, it will sound horrible. And that's because it's the bagpipes. Because after years and years and years of practicing the bagpipes, they'll still sound horrible, but at least now you know how to play a tune. And that's how you should approach veterinary medicine. You will all have failures. I fail all the time. And you're going to think everybody's going to remember it, but nobody's going to remember anything. You think anybody's going to remember this speech? Nobody's going to remember this. I say anything I want. Whoop! Nobody's going to remember that. So the only people that are going to remember your failures is you. So don't let them drag you down. Don't take everything so seriously. Think those are diplomas you're holding? They're covers. I'm going to cut this a little short because I'm basically fairly redundant. So what I really want to say was, the most predictive indicator of success is not how smart you are or what grade you got or how well you passed the NAVLE the first, second, or third time. It's grit. It's perseverance. It's banging your head over and over and over against the wall until you bust through. It took me 5 years to get a residency after being denied all of those 5 years. I've told some of you that, but I want to tell everybody that, because if life hands you lemons, throw the lemons out the window. I think that's a saying. No, if your life isn't going the way you want, and I don't care if it's academic or career or social or what have you, change it. Your life didn't end here, it began. So you find yourself out in practice for a couple years, you don't like it, they're making you work till 11 p.m., you don't like the type of job that you got, you don't like where you live. You could spend the next 30 years living that way, or you could change it. And if you want to change it, it's going to be hard. But you can choose. Be unhappy for years and years and years, or change your circumstance. And you might not succeed right away, and that's okay. So remember that. You have all succeeded beyond your wildest dreams. Keep going. Keep doing that. The only person that can stop you from achieving what you want is you. So don't give up. You're not doctors because of this. This is all fake. This is rented. These colors, I don't even know what school that is. As far as I can tell, that's concrete maintenance. I looked it up. I'm serious. I can't get this off now. This doesn't matter. You've been doctors the whole time. So don't worry about this. Worry about being doctors. And nobody can ever take that away from you, and that's what I want to say. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Bechtel, for that rousing speech. And now I invite Anna Dondero, Dr. Dondero, the class president, to come to the podium to deliver the student speech.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm Anna Dondero. I'm the president of class of 2023. As we gather here today to celebrate the graduation of this year's veterinary class, I want us to start by acknowledging the incredible achievements of each and every one of us. Completing a veterinary degree is a challenging and demanding process, and we should be extremely proud of ourselves for making it to this momentous occasion. But we aren't just graduating from a normal 4 years of vet school. In case you missed it, in March of 2020, we all left for spring break and didn't return to campus for nearly 18 months. All of a sudden, the spelling of Rhipicephalus sanguineus or the life cycle of Haemacos contortus became a little less important. Just don't tell Dr. Ballweber I said that. As a class, we became distant, isolated, and lonesome. We saw a few faces through a screen every day, but we lost our sense of community. The community we had built through the months of studying in the cubes and working together diligently in the anatomy lab. Our transition back onto campus was more difficult than I think we had all anticipated. I mean, who had the mental stamina to sit in a classroom all day after we had become accustomed to building our own learning environments and class schedules for so long? But we figured it out, and we made it through capstone. And then clinics came. Whoa, as Dr. Abalil would say. We thought it was an impossible task, yet here we are today. And in our final 12 months, I have seen more friendships grow and develop, technical skills honed, and knowledge gained, even though we didn't think our brains could hold any more information after NAVLE. We still don't know everything, but that's the perk of being lifelong learners. There's always room for growth. And I'll remember a lot from veterinary school, but there are a few things that really stand out. Like the smell of necropsy on a warm summer day when the freezer is broken, the sound of Dr. Lee mumbling through an entire anatomy demonstration, the frustration of 1,000 PTTs going off in the rounds room all at once, the fear of reloading the transfer board at 7 a.m. when you're on call. And I learned a few mottos to live by. There are 2 drugs for every bug, according to Dr. Lappin. The keys to an antigen hunt are the Knights of Knee, per Dr. Dowers. Dr. Mason taught us multifactorial and poorly understood was almost always an acceptable answer. Cats are made of rubber, from Dr. Fizz. And lastly, you can never forget about Addison's disease on any differentialist, the condition we know as the great pretender, because it can hide, fester, and erupt when you least expect it. It's like how we have gone through veterinary school with the feeling of pretending to belong when it feels like we don't deserve to be here, letting our own imposter syndrome hide, fester, and erupt when we least expect it. And although these feelings may never fully resolve throughout our career, there is a treatment. Accepting we deserve to be here today and every day, because we do. As we look ahead to the future, I want to encourage each and every one of us to stay true to the values that brought us to this profession. We have chosen a noble profession, one that demands the best of us every day. But with that noble profession comes great responsibility. We are entrusted with the health and well-being of our patients, and we must always remember that this trust is a privilege, not a right. I hope we embrace this responsibility and use our skills and knowledge to make a positive impact in the world. Whether you choose to work in private practice, research, public health, food production, or you're brave enough to go through a residency, always remember the importance of empathy, compassion, and integrity in your work. We have the opportunity to make a real difference in the lives of animals and the people who care for them. As I was researching how to write a commencement speech, as one does when tasked with this responsibility, research showed that the best speeches were short and sweet, so I promise I'm almost done. And they always ended with a call to action. So today, my call to action for us is don't let comparison be the thief of joy, one of my favorite Hoyerisms adopted from Brené Brown. As we embark on our future journey, I urge you to be kind to yourself, Don't compare yourself against others. Believe what you have accomplished is worthy of success, and embrace all challenging opportunities with enthusiasm, optimism, and commitment to excellence. I am so grateful to celebrate this moment with you all. We did it!
Thank you, Dr. Dondero. I just want to make an aside comment here. This is one of the most enthusiastic classes that I've seen, and I'm wondering if it's the pent-up pandemic demand or you're all just really exuberant. But I want to commend you for how joyful you are today. I want to thank another group of individuals who need to be recognized for playing the most important role in helping these graduates get to where they are today, and those of you in the audience know who I'm talking about. Today's group of new doctors of veterinary medicine have been nurtured through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and through these tough 4 years, and they can now be called doctor. I would like to ask all the parents, spouses, other family members, and friends who are in the audience today who have supported and guided our new graduates to please stand and be recognized by our graduates, faculty, and staff. And I'm also everybody that shouts and whoops and hollers in the audience, I very much appreciate that as well. That's what I do when I'm sitting up there. We now have 148 new doctors in the House. In addition to earning your DVM degree, you have moved from student to alumni, as several people have pointed out. What will that mean to you in the future? Well, I was reflecting upon this about 2 weeks ago. One of my closest friends from veterinary college visited me. She's the owner of a feline-only practice in California. And we got together and started making jokes and doing things, communing like we had a few decades ago, put it that way. I have other classmates that are practicing shelter medicine, equine dentistry, small and mixed animal practices, and some contribute to society in non-veterinary ways. And we have tremendously varied life stories. And though our lives have taken these markedly different trajectories, those memories of our first anatomy exam, the first palpation lab, and our graduation have remained an anchor over our lifetime. These connections from the 4-year span when I was a veterinary trainee has woven a fabric that is an indelible part of my life. As we depart today and you launch on the next phase of your career, you will find this to be the case as well. CSU has now graduated more than 8,000 veterinarians, and you will be part of nearly 250,000 alumni worldwide from the university. On behalf of CSU Alumni Association, congratulations and welcome to this new stage of your career. No matter where your personal and professional journey takes you, please keep in touch with us. I found this last 9 months, talking to alumni is one of the most valuable components of my training. Attend alumni receptions and national meetings. We almost always have free food and free drinks. And come back to Fort Collins and see how our campus and college has grown. Your feedback about how your education prepared you for your new life and your connections as a mentor to students following in your footsteps will be an invaluable gift to us. So be prepared to hear from us in the future. So now for closing remarks, I'd like to now tell you, you know you're in the best veterinary college, right? And now I want to tell you why you're graduating with the most versatile, most important degree that exists. How many other academic programs train their students anatomy and physiology of cows, horses, dogs, and cats, and provide the details, compare it in such a comparative way that you can infer from this knowledge to other species ranging from invertebrates to the largest mammal? And how many curricula educate students about zoonotic diseases, which are the diseases, as we know, that spread from animals to humans? For example, in this county, plague, tularemia, West Nile, rabies. As a veterinarian, you will have the knowledge of relative risk, potential therapies, and the biosafety protocols to avoid infections with these agents? How many educational programs train students to administer anesthesia to animals that weigh less than 1 pound or more than a ton, or know the distinction between a hindgut fermenter and a ruminant? The veterinary curriculum is packed with information about health and disease of many animal species, taught in a way that it is nearly impossible to avoid noticing the analogous and specific distinctions among species in a comparative way. In other words, the one toe of the horse, its hoof, is comparable to the middle phalangeal digit of a dog. Horses and cows have different disease susceptibilities and different responses sometimes to the same medication. Meanwhile, the kidneys of these species function in essentially the same way and look the same under a microscope. In addition to this litany of similar and dissimilar facts about animal species, you as a veterinarian are capable of treating the individual animal, like a medical doctor does with his or her patients, as well as a populations of animal, like a practitioner of public health. We as a profession largely ignore this invaluable ability to understand the similarities and differences among the animal kingdom and to have the capacity to understand health and disease in relation to environment, genetic, and management characteristics. You know so much stuff. The education you have completed gives you the capacity to pursue both esoteric and very practical career options. And another thing, which is obvious, and I only really thought about a couple of years ago, is important to recognize. There is one identity that is shared by every member of this class and every member of every veterinary medical class that preceded you. That is that we are all members of the species Homo sapiens. We are all human beings. So what happens when a human being that is trained to think comparatively about animal health recognizes that they too are animals? Well, let's just say you become the medical doctor's worst nightmare. How many of you have diagnosed a health condition in yourself or a family member or a human friend over the last 4 years? Let's see a raise of hands. Yeah, I'm sure that's at least a minimum. When I was a veterinary student from my first year forward, I diagnosed many potential and real ailments, and my daughter still tells all her friends about how I treated her one time with antibiotics I got out of my veterinary medical box that was meant to be given to a cat. She's doing fine. But more practically, my research career and my career as a comparative medicine veterinarian revolved around the fact that I was trained to understand and recognize animal health and disease, and I could extend this knowledge to understand human health and disease. There is no other profession with this broad grasp of health and disease. To quote the AVMA, today's veterinarians are the only doctors educated to protect the health of both animals and people. Physicians have no reason to think about the health and wellness of animals, and they do not have a comparative lens. Individuals that attain PhDs will typically have much deeper knowledge about one specific targeted question, but they have not been trained to think broadly about parameters outside of that narrow focus that may influence or limit the conclusions of their work. The typical veterinarian is empathetic, kind, extremely smart, practical, patient, caring. However, the typical veterinarian has much lower regard for their breadth of talent than they should. In other words, as a profession, we suffer from low self-esteem, which often impacts our well-being and happiness. While being humble can be a very positive trait, I hope you will aim for being humble with high self-esteem and high regard for what you can do, your versatility, innovation, flexibility. These are such important traits as a profession that we can contribute to society. The point of this message is to tell you to be proud of this degree. Be confident. Take your self-esteem up a few notches from where it is, because you, new graduates, are poised to do just about anything that you want with the knowledge and the training that you have just completed. You're a member of the greatest profession, and you have graduated from the best college of veterinary medicine in the world, and your future is limitless. Good luck, new veterinarians, and keep in touch. Congratulations to you all. And now, what everybody's been waiting for, we're about to start the recessional. Thank you for being part of this wonderful event. I ask that the audience please remain seated until the platform, group, and the graduates have exited. to the CSU alma mater. Thank you so much.